All right, so are you ready to dive deep? Today, we're tackling something that I think we can all relate to, getting people to actually listen to our messages.
Ah, yes. The age-old struggle of cutting through the noise. It's like everyone's inbox is overflowing, notifications are buzzing nonstop.
Exactly. It's almost an art form to craft a message that actually gets a response these days. But lucky for us, you sent in this fascinating transcript.
It's a really good one. It analyzes exactly that the psychology of messages people can't ignore.
Some of these techniques are so clever, honestly, you'll be able to put them to use, like, immediately.
It's funny you say art form because the transcript actually kicks off by digging into WHY so many messages get ignored in the first place. It's like
Yeah.
you got to solve the puzzle of what makes people tune out. That's the first step.
Makes sense. So what are the biggest culprits? What makes people hit delete or just straight up ignore us?
Or one major thing is something we're all dealing with. Information overload. We're just bombarded with messages constantly, right?
Oh, tell me about it.
And because of that, our brains have gotten good at filtering things out. Anything that doesn't seem super relevant, super engaging. Gone.
Yeah, our attention spans are already stretched so thin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if a message doesn't grab us right away, it's lost in the shuffle.
Mm.
But here's what's interesting. The transcript argues that it's not just about how MUCH information we're getting. It's about the value of that information.
Okay, so even if a message is short, if it's generic or feels irrelevant, our brains just chuck it in the trash.
Pretty much. It's like our brain is constantly doing this cost-benefit analysis. Like,
Yeah.
is it worth my time to even read this?
So how do we pass that test? How do we make our messages valuable enough to get noticed?
That's where personalization comes in. People want to feel seen, like you're speaking directly to them.
Totally. As someone who's all about learning quickly, I get that. You want that aha moment where it's like, this is for me.
Exactly. It goes way beyond just using someone's name. It's about understanding their values, what motivates them, what their goals are.
And then tailoring the message so it hits those points. It's exactly.
Okay, so personalization is key. What else makes a message stand out? I mean, we're all drowning in this sea of information.
The transcript digs into something called emotional appeal. Think about the messages you actually remember, the ones that stuck with you. Chances are they made you feel something.
Oh, for sure. Like those email subject lines that are like, I have to click this, or that text that makes you smile out of the blue.
Exactly. Emotions are powerful. And the transcript says tapping into them is essential if you want to craft messages that people can't ignore.
I'm already seeing how this all connects. We're not just talking about writing better emails or social media posts. This is deeper,
It is. It's about the psychology of how we connect as humans.
which is what makes this transcript so fascinating. It's not just tips and tricks. It's like a whole new way to understand communication.
That's what we're all about here.
Okay, so we've got personalization, we've got emotional appeal. Anything else we need to factor in? Oh, definitely. The transcript talks about timing. You can have the most brilliant personalized message, but if you send it at the wrong time.
It's like trying to have a deep conversation with someone who's rushing to catch a flight. It's just
Right.
not going to happen.
Exactly. You got to be mindful of the other person's context, their schedule, what they're dealing with at that moment.
Choose a moment when they're actually open to receiving your message.
Exactly. It's more likely to land that way.
Okay, personalization, emotional appeal, timing, feeling good so far. Anything else before we jump into the specific message types?
Just one more thing the transcript stresses. Authenticity and originality. We're all so tired of generic messages, right?
It's like a plague.
In a world full of that, your communication needs to feel fresh, genuine, uniquely you.
So we gotta avoid sounding like a robot or one of those spammy marketing emails.
Exactly. People can tell when something is truly genuine, when it's coming from you, from your heart.
Awesome. I think we've laid a solid foundation.
Ready to get to the good stuff.
Absolutely. Let's talk about these three irresistible message types. The transcript calls the first one the mystery message, and I'm already intrigued.
Just the name, right? It plays on our curiosity, that human desire to solve puzzles, uncover secrets.
Okay, I'm hooked. How does it work?
So imagine someone sends you a message and it says, I had the weirdest dream last night and you were in it. I'll tell you more later.
Oh, stop it. I'd be dying to know.
Right. It's like a cliffhanger in a movie. The transcript links this to what's called the information gap theory. Basically, when we realize there's a gap between what we know and what we want to know.
It creates this tension. We have to fill it.
Bingo. And that tension makes us respond, ask for more information, try to close that gap.
This is brilliant. It's like a psychological trick, but in a good way.
It is, but you have to be subtle. The transcript says you want to give just enough information to spark curiosity, but not so much that it's annoyingly vague.
Okay, so not, I have a secret, but more like, I just learned something that totally changed how I see topic, and I think it'll blow your mind too. Something like that.
That's a perfect example. It hints at something intriguing without being too cryptic.
Okay, let's get practical. Let's say you're texting someone you're into. How could you use a mystery message to keep the conversation flowing?
Ooh, fun scenario. Instead of the usual, hey, how was your day? All right, how about something like, I saw something today that totally reminded me of you. I'll tell you about it next time we hang out.
Ooh, I like it. It's playful, and it gives them a reason to look forward to seeing you.
Exactly. But remember, the transcript warns against overusing this.
Right, we don't want to be manipulative or like we're always holding back.
It's all about balance. Spark curiosity, but don't create distrust.
Got it. So mystery messages, check. Ready for the second type? This one is called the compliment message, and I'm always up for some good vibes.
Me too. And what's interesting about this one is that it goes deeper than just making someone feel good.
Oh, tell me more.
Well, think about it. When someone acknowledges your strengths, your talents, it triggers a release of dopamine in the brain.
Wait, seriously, so getting a compliment is like a little hit of happiness.
Exactly. And that dopamine rush makes you associate good feelings with the person who gave you the compliment.
Interesting. So it's not just about making someone feel good in that moment. It actually strengthens the connection between you.
You got it.
Oh.
And this is but the compliment needs to be genuine.
Yeah, we've all gotten those fake, cheesy compliments. It just feels icky.
Totally. So to make a compliment truly irresistible, focus on something specific that you actually admire about the person. Don't just say, you're great.
Okay, so give me an example. What's a compliment that would make you feel truly seen and appreciated?
Well, if someone said, I'm always impressed by how you can explain complex ideas so clearly, it's really engaging, that would definitely resonate with me.
Because it's specific to your skills and what you care about. It's not just a generic pat on the back.
Exactly. The transcript gives some other great examples. Like, instead of, you're a great writer, you could say, the way you use metaphors in your writing is so creative, it really brings your stories to life.
Okay, I see the difference. It's about going deeper. Finding those little things that make someone unique.
Exactly. And the transcript says unexpected compliments can be really powerful too.
Because it catches you off guard.
Exactly. It makes you feel like, wow, they really noticed that. It feels more genuine.
And you're not just complimenting them because it's expected or because you feel obligated.
Right. It's about being present, paying attention to those little details that other people might miss.
Okay, I'm loving this. So we've got mystery messages, compliment messages. Ready to unlock the third type?
Let's do it.
The transcript calls this one the empowerment message, and I'm already feeling motivated. What's the scoop?
Okay, so this one taps into something deep. That human desire to grow, to become the best version of ourselves.
We all have that inner drive, right? To reach our full potential.
Exactly. And when someone sends us a message that truly believes in us, supports our dreams, it can be incredibly powerful.
It's like having a personal cheerleader in your corner.
Yes. The transcript says there are a few key elements to a truly effective empowerment message.
Okay, I'm ready to take notes.
Number one, it has to be encouraging.
So not just, you can do it, but...
Right. It's about expressing genuine belief in the other person, highlighting their strengths, acknowledging their efforts.
So like, I've always admired your work ethic. I know you'll crush this project. Something like that.
Perfect example. Now, the second element is being future-focused.
Ooh, interesting. So we're not dwelling on the past, we're looking ahead.
Exactly. It's about helping the person see themselves, achieving their goals, embracing the journey, even if it's tough.
So instead of focusing on setbacks, we're helping them shift their focus to what's possible.
You got it.
Okay, I'm getting the feeling that these empowerment messages are less about giving advice and more about inspiring action.
You're spot on. It's about planting seeds of possibility.
And then the third element the transcript emphasizes is personalization.
We've talked about personalization for all three message types, but it's especially crucial for empowerment messages.
Okay, so how do we personalize an empowerment message? Give me an example.
Let's say your friend is starting a new business. You could say something like, your passion for this project is so inspiring. I know you've poured your heart and soul into it, and I can't wait to see it flourish.
Oh, I love that. You're acknowledging their passion, their hard work, and their unique vision.
Exactly. Okay, ready for a real-life scenario where this could make a big difference?
Hit me with it.
Imagine a friend is feeling discouraged about their job search. They've been trying so hard, but no luck.
I've been there. It's the worst.
So you could send them an empowerment message that reminds them of their strengths, encourages them to keep going, and offers support. Something like, hey, I know this job search has been tough, but don't give up. You have so much to offer, and the right opportunity is out there. I'm here to help in any way I can, whether it's brainstorming ideas, reviewing your resume, or just being a listening ear. You've got this.
That's so good. It's encouraging, supportive, and reminds them of their worth. I can see how that would really lift someone's spirits.
That's the beauty of these empowerment messages. They boost confidence, but they also strengthen the bond between you.
Wow, this has been so insightful. We've really unpacked the psychology behind these message types.
It's amazing how subtle shifts in our approach can make such a big difference.
Totally. But before we wrap up, we should probably talk about the mistakes people make, right? The transcript had a whole section on that.
Oh, for sure. Even with the best intentions, we can mess things up.
So let's break it down, starting with the mystery message. We talked about being subtle, not too vague, but what's the biggest mistake people make?
I'd say the most common one is overusing them. If every interaction is a mystery, it starts to feel forced and inauthentic.
Like that friend who's always hinting at some big secret but never actually spills the tea.
Exactly. And if you create too much mystery, it can backfire. Instead of intrigue, it just creates frustration.
So use them sparingly, especially in new relationships. And make sure that when you do reveal the answer, it lives up to the hype.
Exactly. Okay, now let's talk about compliment messages. Biggest pitfall.
Well, we already touched on it. Insincerity. The transcript is really clear about that.
Yeah, fake compliments are easy to spot. And they damage your credibility.
It's like, why bother?
Right. So the key is to offer genuine appreciation for qualities you actually admire.
Focus on something specific and meaningful.
Exactly. All right, last but not least, empowerment messages. What do we need to watch out for here? The biggest mistake is offering encouragement without any real support.
So it's not enough to just say, you can do it.
Right. You have to back it up with action. Maybe it's offering advice, helping them brainstorm solutions.
So it's like that friend who's always saying, let's hang out, but never actually makes plans.
Exactly. Words without action are meaningless. And with empowerment messages, it's important to tailor your support to the person's specific situation. Acknowledge their struggles, but remind them of their strengths.
Okay, so it's about a balance of realism and optimism.
Exactly. And by offering both, you're showing a real commitment to their success.
This has been fantastic. I feel like we've really dug deep into the psychology behind these message types.
It's really fascinating stuff.
But what I'm really curious about now is what happens when we start using these messages consistently? I mean, shouldn't that have a positive ripple effect on our relationships?
You're absolutely right. The transcript suggests that, yes, using these messages regularly can lead to stronger, more authentic relationships across the board.
Ooh, I like the sound of that. Let's dive into that more in the next part of this deep dive. How can these messages specifically improve our personal relationships, our work relationships, and just our overall communication skills?
Great questions. We'll be right back after a quick break to explore those and more.
Can't wait.
Welcome back. We're in the middle of our deep dive into messages that people just can't ignore. And last time, we left off talking about how using these types of messages can actually have a positive ripple effect on your relationships.
It's wild, right? Because on the surface, we're just talking about crafting a message, but it goes so much deeper than that.
It really does. So let's unpack this a little bit. How do these messages, mystery, compliment, empowerment, how do they strengthen our personal relationships?
Okay, yeah, let's start there. Because at the end of the day, our personal relationships are what matter most, right?
Couldn't agree more. So think about it. When you send a message that taps into someone's curiosity, makes them feel validated, or empowers them.
It's like you're speaking their language.
Exactly. You're sending a signal that you see them, you value them, and you're invested in their well-being. And when that happens consistently,
It creates this foundation of trust and intimacy.
you got it. It's like you're building a bridge of connection with every message.
I love that. So it's not just about the words themselves, it's about the deeper meaning behind them.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about professional relationships, because these message types can be incredibly powerful in the workplace too.
Oh, for sure. I can already see how a well-placed compliment or empowerment message could really make a difference with colleagues or even your boss.
Absolutely. Think about it. When you use these types of messages in a professional setting,
You set yourself apart as a leader.